Isn't it? Wow, gap or contribute new knowledge is very, very scary prospect. So let's look at what we can accept as gap. Some gap is really difficult to find. Some gap is not that difficult to find. Okay, so depending again on your tutor. For my class, I need 2 gaps. 2 enough lah, right? Okay, 1 2 little, 2 enough, 2 gap. But depending on your tutor, maybe your tutor say, 2 peanuts, right? Piece of cake. 5 lah, right? Up to your tutor. I won't challenge them. My class, 2 will do. And let's see what are the normal gap lah, right? To my class especially, and actually for everyone, the most important gap is knowledge gap. I put bigger, maybe we can see bigger here. Later scroll. Knowledge gap. Knowledge gap is normally contribution in terms of variable. Meaning, maybe your DV is already very well studied, like stock market performance. But your IV, you contribute a new variable. You understand? Don't have to be both new. IV, DV new are very, very burdensome. Can be one part is old, another part is new. So to me, knowledge gap is necessary. Because other gap are very tiny gap only. So normally, we want at least 1 knowledge gap. Either your IV is new or your DV is new. One of them lah. If you're so good, both new, even better lah. Wow, that one is you break a lot of boundaries lah. You understand? Okay? Methodological gap is like, maybe in the past, study, they use survey to research on that topic. But you want to use secondary data. You understand? And very limited people use secondary data. But somehow you got access to the data. That is called methodology gap, right? Okay? Theoretical gap, not so much. Empirical gap, not so much. I go to the important knowledge gap, methodological gap, population gap is quite easy to do. You look at the topic that you want to study, right, based on past journal, and you notice many of them, let's say they study on, young investors. They do young investors. But many people, but you see very limited, they do on retired investors, you know. So that is a population gap, you know, your subject. People do on this group of people, but they forget about maybe, you know, the retirees who invest. That is called population gap. Alright? Or maybe that study is done on listed company. But you want to do, but again data lah, you want to do on another type of company that is less studied, something like that. You understand? That is called population gap. Another easy one, geographical gap. The topic you see, they are normally done maybe in Western country, US lah, Europe, but very few they do like in the Asia context, like Malaysia. So different location, you understand? That is also another gap. Temporal gap, maybe that research that area, even though the problem still persists, but you notice the last research done maybe 10 years ago. After that, silent already. No, people seem to, forgot about it, but the problem is still there. So you want to revisit the topic, but using newer data. That is called temporal gap, right? New data based on current times. Okay. Now, when it comes to current time, I have to highlight a bit. Primary data, of course, current time, because you survey now, isn't it? But secondary data, be careful. Your topic need to have at least 5 years of data. Meaning you cannot, secondary data, you cannot suggest a topic that has not happened. Sometimes Securities Commission or Bank Negara say they want to introduce something, 1, 2, no data yet, isn't it? Plan only, cannot do. You understand? Right? Or even if it is introduced, but recently, maybe just few months ago, 1 year ago, still cannot do. You need 5 years of historical data. You understand? So secondary data, you cannot propose something that is so new that the data is not complete yet. 5 years. Okay? So another important criteria. Even though we say we want something new, too new for secondary data cannot be done. typically, you do your e-views, right? Data only, few data, how to run, isn't it? We want 5 years of data set, minimum. Okay? Right. The last important gap possible evidence gap. Like this. Evidence gap also quite easy. The topic you want to do, you notice that in the past, got people do, but they find conflicting results, like just now, employee tenure and productivity. I believe got people do this topic, isn't it? But like just now when I asked you, you cannot agree, isn't it? Right? Maybe the researcher, they also found conflicting results. Some say longer tenure better, some say shorter tenure better. So that's called evidence gap, conflicting past result. So you want to revisit the topic to see actually which one is correct. You understand? So that's why I say don't be too troubled also about your gap. You understand? Right? Because your gap, normally I want one knowledge gap, at least one, because this is the most difficult to come up with a new variable, isn't it? Right? That is related to your IV or DV. Another gap, quite easy, isn't it? Change location, change population, change time. The other gap is the easier gap. Okay? So one difficult plus one easy for my, especially my tutorial. If your tutor are okay, then you follow this criteria. Understand? Okay? Right. Normally, you see this class like not much material, but a lot of hands-on thing, right? So what I want to show actually, I also want to show, do you know how to search? Maybe next week I'll show you more into how to look at journals to look for gap. First week, let's see how you can come up with it, right? But sometimes, just now remember I say, how do you know what is known and what is not known, isn't it? Right? So I give you a quick one here, but next week I go through more thoroughly. Do you know how to get journal from UMT? Go where? Tell me. Click where? Library, Click library. And you come down to this called iDiscover, isn't it? Right? So, I can't demonstrate a lot because I have to go through the case study, but I'm just telling you, how do you know the topic you want to do, got people do or not? Do already means well known, isn't it? Right. So give me a topic. Any topic? Cannot think. I must go IVDV lah. Anything? Cannot think. I give an easy one, that one well studied lah, guarantee well studied lah, but I'm just telling you how to search, right? Let's say I put corporate governance, stock market. When you use iDiscover, don't type your whole sentence, type keywords. The shorter the keyword, the better, because it captures more, understand? So I'm going to put corporate governance. Stock. Because I don't know what, maybe the journal use stock market, stock price, stock performance, so I just put stock, right? Minimum, so that it capture more titles. So I search, right? Search. But you must log in using your intranet, you understand, right? If you want to download the data, if you want to download the journal, right? What? Okay? So how to know? To me, filter, we only want journal, don't want all this news and don't want all the other thing, right? So, how to know is well studied? Initially, you don't have to read the journal, right? You just look at title only. You see corporate governance, effect on this one, not stock market, isn't it? Financial performance. So you say, don't know, did they link it to stock market, isn't it? So you see the second one, financial reporting. This one totally not related, isn't it? Right? So maybe still got hope, right? Corporate governance, stock market, right? This one I don't know how to read, right? So skip, right? Minority shareholder takeover, is it related? No. So the more you find not related, your hope is higher, you understand? Because you want gap, isn't it? So if you see, first click the top 10 also all the same, meaning your hope gone already, change title. But so far, I don't see any, agree or not? So maybe still got potential. Then I see number 5. Is this related? Corporate governance, stock return, stock market. Oh, okay. I take note, got 1 already, right? So my chances may be a bit lower. Then I go second one, different, sustainability. Then you go through and more and more and more. Corporate governance, stock return, oh, got 2 already. You understand? That is how we know, is it well studied or not. Can you understand? Right? So sometimes you don't know what is out there, isn't it? Out there means you can use this database to help you. You go through a topic that you want to do and you see. Scroll, but don't scroll only 10. Normally, if you see top 10 also a lot means forget it already. But like in this case, after I scroll until 10, maybe I only found this stock price crash is a bit different. I only found 2. I'm not sure. I continue my search. Understand? Until maybe I go until 100, I see if I go until 100, if I can find 10, it means okay, limited. You understand? If I go under 100, I find 50, forget it already. You understand? Okay? That is how you find. Preliminary lah. That is the idea. Okay? Right? Next week, we can go more into this lah. Right? If you still cannot have your successful attempt first round. Okay? Right. Right. So, I will go through quickly what is your task for the first tutorial. Right. Very easy only. You got this, isn't it? First, you form your group. 5 to 7 members in a group. Right. To me, like my tutorial group, through years of observation, maximum 1 tutorial group, 4 group enough. Too many group, not enough time to give you, consultation and so on. Right. But I think I see all the group is not too big right? Maximum also like 25 students. So to my group unless your other tutor are okay, even though 5 to 7 members, but limit it to 4 groups. Okay, no more than 4 groups. Right. So your first task for next week is topic only. Understand? With all the criteria I mentioned. You understand? Okay. For my tutorial group, I will post this for you also. But other group, I think is also helpful for you. Why I post this? For my tutorial group, very, very striking, very glaring. To remind you of what we did today, I want 4 groups. DV must be finance related, must have your IV DV, like all the, just now I said sample, subject, location. And when you meet your tutor, don't come with only one topic. One topic, you learn portfolio management, right? No diversification of risk. First one reject, right? Okay? Come with as many topic, 20 ka, 30 ka is okay, you understand? Because sometimes out of 20, maybe only 1 approve only. All the rest 19 reject one. Okay? And don't just come empty-handed. Come with your supporting journal. Why? Because when you have the journal, it's easier for your tutor to see whether there's a potential. They read, this one can be done. If you just talk, your tutor may say, sure, can be done. You understand? So come up with your supporting journal. The journal cannot be exactly what you want to do, but it's, there are some elements of it. Okay? And when you have the journal open ready, and make sure the journal, you open up your journal, you see part 3, they will have data and methodology. Why this is important for the tutor, right? I think you better take your attendance first. Oh yeah, that's the reason for coming.